I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority. Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority. And boy, do I have a doozy for you today. We're going to take a look at cryptocurrency. And we're going to specifically take a look at the Bill Gates or Microsoft patent. The patent that's W02020060606. And I'm going to show you a number of things, but I'm going to show you how this is connected to all the things that we've been researching on this channel, specifically the Holy of Holies, the body, the human body, and how people are getting things stuck to their bodies. You know how when they get that sting in their arm and then metal sticking to them and stuff like that. We're going to get into all that and why, and I'm going to show you. So let's get going here. Okay, so we're looking at this is the patent that Microsoft filed. Okay, cryptocurrency system using body activity data. Interesting. Okay, and just showing you a few parts of the information, so you can kind of pause it and look over it if you want to. You can see down here it's Microsoft Technology Licensing. And I hear somebody yelling, "Oh, but Bill Gates retired from Microsoft. He's not working there anymore. He don't have any control." Yeah, okay. You keep believing that. Okay. So now what we're looking at here, let me show you. Well, let me read this first. Okay, it says human, and this is going to get good, so don't go nowhere. Human body activity associated with a task provided to a user may be used in a mining process of cryptocurrency system. Human body mining cryptocurrency? How's that gonna work? Boy, is this really gonna blow your mind, what I've got to show you today. A server may provide a task to a device of a user which is commutatively coupled to the server. A sensor commutatively coupled to the or compromised in a device of the user may sense body activity of the user. How's it going to do that? Wait till you find out. Body activity data may be generated based on the sensing body activity of the user. The cryptocurrency system commutatively coupled to the device of the user may verify if the body activity data satisfies, and then they get their payment, right? Okay. So let's keep it going here. This is their little diagram. They're showing how this kind of works, right? You got the individual, like a node, which is the computer up on the left. Maybe a miner or various things that could represent. Then you got the communications network, which is represented by the number 120. And the reason why I'm pointing these numbers out is because when I'm reading you here something in just a minute, it's going to be important. Okay, so to kind of realize what these numbers represent. The cryptocurrency system is numbered as 150 because they stopped using those names and they just say the number. Okay, and then you got the 3 down here at the bottom, which is the user device. Okay, 130. The sensor, 140. Okay, and then the human body, okay, is 145. So 140 and 145 are very closely related, and you're going to find out how closely related. Now, I'm not going to read you all of the coverage of this, okay? I'm going to read you, meaning all of the information that was in the patent. You can go do that on your own if you want to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some very interesting pieces. Okay, so here we go. Sensor 140 may be configured to sense the body activity of user 145, meaning the person. 140 is the sensor, 145 is the person. As illustrated in Figure 1, sensor 140 may be a separate component from the user device 130 and may be operable and or communicatively connected to the user device 130, like your phone maybe or something, right? Alternatively, sensor 140 may be included and integrated into user device 130. For example, user device 130 may be a wearable device having a sensor 140 therein. The sensor 140 may transmit individual data, and user device 130 sensor 140 may include, but for example, but not limited to functional magnetic resonance imaging. What? Where did the magnetic stuff come into play here all of a sudden? So the sensor, which is 140, may include, for example, but not limited to, functional magnetic resonance imaging. Meaning your phone is going to have a sensor on it that connects and can see the magnetic field that is being put off by your body. Now you're starting to understand why people are having things that are stuck to them, because they are getting them ready. One of the reasons is getting them ready to connect everybody up to cryptocurrency. And this is it. Absolutely. Okay, let's keep going. The fMRI may use a magnetic field and radio waves to create detailed images of the body. Example, blood flow in the brain to detect areas of activity. What? Yeah. Okay, so again, they're talking about a sensor like either in your phone or on your body that will be able to detect a magnetic field. Now, it's interesting how many people we've been seeing lately with these magnetic fields, even to the point that a EMF meter can sense the magnetic field. There's videos on that. I've shared a few through my community page. All right. Let's keep going. I got a lot to show you, and it gets way worse. The body activity may include, for example, but not limited to, radiation emitting from the body. What is radiation? Radiation is another word for an EMF field or a magnet, anything that puts off radiation. Like a radio antenna or radio transmission. And another word for the radio. Radio is a short word for radiation, but they didn't think that word sounded so good, so they changed it to radio. It sounds good, flows off the tongue. Radiation emitted from the human body, brain activities, body fluid flow, organ activity or movement, body movement, any other activities that can be sensed and represented by images, waves, signals, text, numbers, degrees, and any other form of information or data. Examples of body radiation emitted from human body may include radiant heat of the body, pulse rate, brain waves. Waves may compromise, for example, but not limited to gamma waves involved in learning and memory tasks. How invasive are they getting at this point? Unbelievable. Beta waves involving logical thinking and conscious thought. Alpha waves, which may be related to subconscious thought. Theta waves, which may be related to thoughts involving deep and raw emotions. Delta waves, which may be involved in sleep or deep relaxation. Yeah. I mean, they're even talking about being able to detect your eye movements and facial expression movements and every square inch of your body, inside and out. They're going to tie it to money, to cryptocurrency, you see. But they need your body to be putting off a magnetic field. Do we know any people that are putting off magnetic fields? Oh, yes, they're the ones that got the sting. or at least a lot of them. Okay. This is the patent search report, which, as you can see, for Microsoft for that patent. Okay. And down in the patent, this was a search report, seeing if there was anything else out there that was similar to what they were talking about. And what came back on the report saying, well, these things are similar, is something that came out that's called Mechatronic Systems Control via Neural Interface Neurogress. Kind of like what Elon Musk is doing, Neuralink. Don't think he's buddy with Bill. Of course they are. They're working together, all of them, towards one goal. This was another patent that was filed a couple of years before the 06 one. But it's basically the same thing. But it did make me realize something. As I was looking at it and I ran a search for MAGN, as you can see how it's kind of highlighted here and here. Seeing how many times magnetic showed up, or magnetic field showed up in it. And I was looking through. And, excuse me, it made me realize something. As you go down through this patent, okay, you see how it's talking about magnetic stuff, but then it mentions magnetic media, hard drive, magnetic disk, drive for reading, form, and writing to a removable, non-volatile magnet disk, floppy drive, floppy disk, an optical disk drive for reading and writing to. Are you seeing where this is going yet? Okay. What it is that, let me just go ahead and go a screen forward, I think, here. Yeah. If they can, memory is stored, all the different types of media out there that store memory, like in your computer, okay? All these types of memory, from floppy disk on forward, even to today with the stuff they use now, it's all about magnetics, okay? So they literally are going to be able to connect you up to the system, to this AI Borg system, and you're going to be connected to it just like a computer. And they're going, they don't say it straight out, but I'll start looking into it here in a second. They don't say it straight out exactly, but in some of their research papers we're going to see is that what they're doing is they're turning all these human bodies that are taking these things and becoming magnetic, they're turning them into storage drives, and not only storage drives, but functional devices that accomplish tasks based on reward of money. But it's not only going to be money, it's going to be also based on dopamine receptors, okay? It's like if they don't do certain things and accomplish certain tasks, they're not going to get any money, and they're also not going to get any dopamine, because they're part of all this. I explained in my last video, it's all about dopamine control, okay? And you can look this up and you'll start seeing it. Now, as I looked forward into this, like right back here for a second, I noticed a word that stood out to me. Polycrystalline, okay? Talks about, says, due to the polycrystalline nature of magnetic material, right? And then it talks about magnetic grains. I'm like, Magnetic grains. That sounds like nano iron oxide magnetic grains that they're pumping into people's bodies. And so then I'm like, oh boy, where's this going exactly? So what I had a suspicion of when I looked at this is the crystalline or crystallite structures, which they store memory on. Like if you look at your credit card in your pocket, it looks similar to this kind of look to it, the little metal thing on it. Okay, let's keep going here. So what I did was ran a search for self-replicating crystallite, because I think this is related to what they're sticking up people's nostrils, okay, and putting on the veil. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say veil, you have one right between your eyes. Go back a couple of videos and you'll get caught up, okay. I'll explain a little bit more as I go here, but so they take that cotton swab, they stick it up in there, and they rub it on the veil, okay. And they have what I suspected was, they have a self-replicating crystalline hydrogel that operates as a antenna, okay. So let's keep looking and see if there's anything to that. So I ran this search, and we got, let's see, self-replicating granular matter, blah, blah, blah. Electrification of friable self-replicating granular matter. Okay, so let's keep going. Here's self-replicating calcifying nanoparticles. Here's delivery of self-replicating RNA using biodegradable polymer particles. Here is robust self-replication of combinatorial information via crystal growth and session, okay, DNA and natural algorithms. And so I'm seeing all this and I'm saying, oh boy, I think I'm on to something here. And so I keep looking, and I run another search. I just add one more word. So I ran a search for self-replicating crystallite. So then I added the word hydrogel. Okay. So then I get semi-crystalline physical hydrogels with shape, memory, and self-healing properties. And then shape, remembering hydrogels made out of synthetic DNA. Biocompatible hydrogel materials can rapidly recover from mechanical stress. Self-healing hydrogels, the next paradigm in tissue engineering, building tissue within your body. So then I ran another search, self-replicating crystallite hydrogel magnetic. And then I got, as you see, it says magneto, which is very interesting because magneto infection, anyone? Okay. With the nano-size iron oxide pellets that they've put into so many people's bodies to make them produce a magnetic field around their body, specifically strong in certain areas where things will even stick to them. Magneto-responsive hydrogels by self-assembly of low molecular weight peptides and cross-linking with iron oxide nanoparticles. Ooh. Jackpot, right? Development of magnetic nanocomposite hydrogel with potential cartilage tissue engineering. Cartilage, like, yeah. Soul gel synthesis and self-replicating single-cell scaffolds. So they're building stuff. Nanostructured templates. Let's keep going. uh, monolayered coverage of self-assembled magnetic nanospheres for controlled release of drugs, right? Or control release of dopamine, huh? Control release. If they can control the release of drug, they can control the release of dopamine as well, because basically they can make that work, apparently. So I took a little closer look at this magneto-responsive hydrogels by self-assembly of low molecular weight peptides and cross-linking with iron oxide nanoparticles. And we'll read this real quick. Hydrogels that respond to non-invasive external stimuli such as a magnetic field are of exceptional interest for the development of adaptive soft materials. To date, magneto-tunable gels are predominantly based on macromolecular building blocks, while comparable low molecular weight systems are rarely found in literature. Okay, so they're all talking about what we've been talking about here, okay? They're talking about the magnetic nanoparticles act as a physical cross-linker for the self-assembled peptide nanostructures, and thus give rise to a fortified hybrid gel with distinctively improved mechanical properties, okay? Furthermore, the particles provide the material with magnetic sustainability. I think they spelled that wrong. And a gel to soul translate is observed upon application of a weak magnetic field. Yeah. So now, let's take a look at this. And this led me to the answer of a question I had that I posed to y'all guys the other day I wasn't sure about. But it's right in front of us. See the little graph at the bottom? You see this? Does this look familiar at all? Of course, this is the nano oxide here. And this is the mRNA that's on it. Okay? And this made me realize something. A couple things, actually. So then I ran a search for it as antenna. Same search again, but added a word antenna. So then I got a couple things. What they're doing is the stuff that they have on that Q-tip that they're sticking up there on the spongy type bone structure that is that has the cristagalli at the top. They're rubbing this stuff on there, and it's self-replicating crystalline materials that can self-replicate and build like an antenna. It looks kind of like, I got several pictures of it here. It looks kind of like this down here at the bottom. Okay. I mean, that's still magnified very greatly. Right there, the thing that looks like grapes on a vine or figs on a tree. You see it? See the figs or the grapes on it? Grapes kind of like? Where have you seen that at recently? Do you know yet? See, like that. They're able to self-replicate and put themselves into an organized like grid, okay, and build an antenna in your sinuses on the veil. Some more images of kind of like what it looks like a little bit. Now, where did we see this at? We've seen it on the coin. Remember, I showed you that this is the mRNA, okay? And you can see it even points back down here. And this is an actual structure like what they're having it do inside your body. This is all the little iron oxide nanopellets and all the little collective ones around it that have all the mRNA on it, and how they are able to also form what they want it to form, okay? You can even see what looks like grapes hanging down here, okay? Let's go up back over here. So if you look up the mRNA stuff, it looks just like this, and it's connected, and it hangs off of a iron oxide nanopellet like this, and they form a structure is what they do. And you can see the injection device that's here along with the mixing device, okay? And you can see where it's mixed and is put into drops, and it collects onto the iron oxide pellets. And when it does, it kind of looks like these, okay? And it has the mRNA sticking out from the sides. And like I said in my last video, you have to look at this like it's in 3D. Like that one's way far away back there, and this one's the closest one. This is like a 3D image. And and of course, it connects to a communication system, like a satellite might be flying over your house right now, because if you don't realize it or know it, they've got satellites flying over all of our houses 24 hours a day, and they call it Starlink. And it's going to give you fast internet, and oh boy is it ever. But what I didn't understand is this quite as well. I knew it had to do with the Holy of Holies and everything, but I've spent a good amount of time. But do you see the grapes, the figs hanging off the tree? Okay. Do you see it here? And this is symbols for water down here. And the date palm tree, or the date tree, okay, because dates is what it produces as a fruit. The reason why this is used as a symbol here for the body, it has to do with how the palm tree grows, okay? Has to do with that the palm tree produces everything. I mean, put it like this: it produces coconuts. I mean, excuse me, dates, right? Produces dates, and you can eat the dates. It produces the leaves, and the leaves can be, or the palms, they can be used for all kinds of things. And then there's something called the heart of palm, which is the inside of the palm tree itself, and it is highly nutritious and like a dessert, basically. It's delicious. Heart of palm, okay? But the palm tree itself unless you've researched it and looked up, you have no idea how many uses it has. Every bit of this tree has a purpose, okay? And as the tree gets taller and as the tree matures is when it starts producing dates. And interestingly enough, palm trees, once they get mature, and the first time that the female date tree produces fruit, it produces fruit from one specific male tree. And then that female tree, will only accept the insemination or the pollen or whatever you want to call it from that same tree for the rest of its life. So, for instance, if you come in and you cut down the male tree that was 100 foot away, or maybe standing next door, right next to it, if you cut down the male tree, the female tree will never produce fruit again. Did you know that? There's a whole lot to it, and this is why a part of a big reason why this is on the walls inside of the description in Scripture about the temple, Solomon's temple, and there were palm trees all over the walls, and I've got a bunch more that I'm going to go into at some point on that with you, okay? But what it has to do with here is this is a representation of the Holy of Holies, okay? And you see these weights that have been put in here. It's related back again to this, okay? It's them putting the self-replicating nano gel, hydrogel stuff in your sinus area where it should not be, and self-replicating and producing an antenna, you see. And that it's symbolism for it. I know it's kind of hard to see and understand exactly unless you've seen and read everything that I've seen and read, but it's what it's about. That's exactly what this is about. And this is, if you haven't seen it or if you're new to my channel, this is the cristagalli. It's a bone that exists right between your eyes, so you'd never notice it. And it's in the shape, as you can see, of a cross. And it has a curtain hanging on it, which is the veil. And behind this is the most holy place in your body, the Holy of Holies. And your body is the temple, the third temple. As I've shown previously in my videos, the temples that were built in the past, going back all the way to Moses, were representation, symbolism of the human body, with the pillars being the legs, the porch being the area of the genitals, and the holy place being the abdomen of the body, and the head being the Holy of Holies, but specifically the forehead, right behind the veil, with the cristagalli standing at the top, the Holy of Holies. Got some more things to show you. I'm going to read this real quick. Corinthians 1 Corinthians 3:9. For we are the laborers together with God. Ye are God's husbandry. Ye are God's building. 16 and 17. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defileth the temple of God, him shall God destroy, and the temple of God is holy, which the temple ye are. This was the tabernacle, like what Moses built, or had built. Okay? Another example of the body again. Now I've got something a little amazing to share with you. It's a trip how this stuff works out. Where's my other slide at, though? Hang on just a second. Now, let me tie all this together for you, okay? Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Okay? Make not my Father's house an house of merchandise. Okay? Now think about this. I've given you the answer already. How did this video start out? What did we start out talking about? Cryptocurrency, and how Bill Gates is turning the body into a house of merchandise, using the body for transactions of money and cryptocurrency, right? So now you understand why I'm going to look at these verses right here. Okay, this is, I pulled up a search and using an online tool and put in money change, and it came up with Matthew, Mark, and John, and talking about the money changers when Jesus went into the temple of God and cast them all out that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves. Okay? I'm going to read a couple of the different ones here. It says, this is Matthew 21:12, and it said, Jesus went into the temple of God and cast them all. Actually, I just read this one for you, but anyways, and cast out all them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves. Okay? I'm going to have another little revelation here in a second that I haven't revealed quite yet, but it's coming. Okay. Now this is, wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. So, just a little bit further down, still Matthew 21:12. Okay, going down to 19. We'll start at 18. It says, now in the morning as he returned into the city, he hungered. And when he saw a fig tree in the way, he came to it. Fig tree? Where have we heard that? When have we talked about that? Fig tree. And he says, and he came to it and found nothing thereon but leaves only, and said unto it, let no fruit grow on thee henceforth forever. And presently the fig tree withered away. The fig tree withered away. And it says, and when his disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, how soon is the fig tree withered away? Jesus answered and said unto them, verily I say unto you, if ye have faith and doubt not, ye shall not only do this which is done to the fig tree, but ye shall all say unto the mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea. It shall be done. And all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing, ye shall receive. Believing. Real belief. So let's keep going here. There's a purpose to all this. So this is Mark 11:13. And, well, let's read 15 first. And they came unto Jerusalem, and Jesus went into the temple and began to cast out them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves. You seen a dove on the sword that I showed you a while ago too, didn't you? Yeah. And then 13 it says, and seeing a fig tree afar off having leaves, he came if haply he might find anything thereon. And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for the time of figs was not yet. And Jesus answered and said unto it, no man eat fruit of thee hereafter forever. You can see, or at least I can see, that the words in these verses and the symbolism is all playing out in what's happening to our bodies, to the people's bodies, to the bride of Christ, to the temple of God. Okay? And I hope you can see that. Now this is John 2, okay? John 2, 14. And found, it says Jesus went to Jerusalem and found in the temple that those that sold oxen, sheep, doves, and the money changers, and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money, and threw over the tables. And said unto them that sold doves, Take these things hence, make not my Father's house an house of merchandise. Okay? Which is what Bill Gates is doing with cryptocurrency. It's right on his patent. I showed it to you. And they're making the people's bodies magnetic, and they're putting antennas in their foreheads so that they communicate and connect with God? No. Their God. Not our God. Not our holy God. Not our Father. And his disciples remembered that it was written, The zeal of thine house hath eaten me up. Then answered the Jews and said unto him, What signs showest thou unto us, seeing that thou doest these things? Jesus answered and said unto them, Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. Then said the Jews, 46 years was the temple in building, and wilt thou rear it up in 3 days? But he spake of the temple of his body. Okay? So they are trying to turn the house of our Father in heaven into a house of merchandise. The whole temple into a house of merchandise. I hope you can see that. Now let's look at the word the word money, okay, in Strong's Concordance, the definition for converting it back to Greek, okay. It says it is a clipping, a bit. Where have we heard that before? Especially a coin, like a Bitcoin. Clipping a bit, a coin, a Bitcoin, money. In gematria, Bitcoin is equivalent to these numbers according to the method you use of calculation. Let's just look at 72 and 432, okay? Bitcoin, 42 and 432 and 72. Money, Bitcoin, is mathematically exactly the same as money. You see? So now let's look at the word bit. Let's look up bit. See where it's used and how it's used. Okay, so I'm looking at Numbers 21:6, and it says, And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died. Bit. Okay, let's look up bit. Let's see what bit is. Because bit is also money. Okay, right? Okay, well, let's see what it says. A primitive root, to strike with a sting, as a serpent. Figuratively, to oppress with interest, on a loan, bite, lend, upon usury. So what does it tell you what Bitcoin is? You can see all the different places that it is also used. Okay, the word bit or the word usury. Okay. So what have we learned today? Quite a few things. Now we can understand why these verses are written the way they are and seem like they're placed unconsequently in the scripture, all these different things, and understand why they're creating cryptocurrency so that they can turn the house of our Father, the temple, which is our bodies, into a house of merchandise where money is exchanged for things. Yep. Amazing, ain't it? Yep. And thank you, Sabbath Seeker, this channel here. You gave me a shout out a little while back in one of your videos. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I know you watch my channel too. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this today. And I've got a bunch more things I want to get into with you. I'll give you a little preview here. But I wanted to get this to you now. But there is a lot more. A lot more. Like the whole thing down there. I'm not sure which one of these I'll jump on next, but the information's all prepared, so that I'll have another video tomorrow. But with the hotel that fell down right on 88th Street, you see there, 88th Street, and this portion of the hotel fell down, right? The Champlain Towers, yeah. I don't even have to say what this was, do I? Do I at this point to y'all guys? But there's a lot more to it than just that. It's a lot bigger. There's just a lot more to it. And I'm going to get into that. Okay. And like, you have to ask yourself, why are all the houses... See, there's the Champlain Towers that collapsed, right? Right in front of the Catholic Basilica here, right? And see how the Catholic Basilica roof is orange? And all these houses here are all orange roofed? Why is that? Questions like that make me go, And why is it that so many of the condos have sold very, very recently? Like 6/16/2021, $710,000 sold. 5/10/2021, $2.8 million penthouse sold. 5/4/2021, $750,000 sold. And the list goes on. About 12 units from what I could find sold in the last, this year, 2021. Last year, only 2 units in the entire complex sold. This year, there's 12 that I can find, and there's probably more than that, in the first 6 months. But in 2020, only 2. And in 2019, I think there were 3. You smell a rat? Of course we do. Of course we do. And we're going to go into that a lot more when when I go into it in depth with you. Just giving you a little preview. The whole orange thing is right in front of you about the orange. Then you hear the orange is the new black. Oh yeah. And I will share this with you. Oops. I found a new flower. It's called another new flower. It's called the Christogalli. Yep. This flower right here, with what looks like a veil and wings, is also, and it has a Christogalli on it. This is called a Christogalli. It's a flower, another flower that is named after the Holy of Holies, between your eyes where you can't see it. Yeah. This is smaller. This is not on a tree. This is like a smaller, well, you can see it here. It's like a smaller bush kind of thing. You can probably actually buy these, and because I'm going to try to get me one of them. The tree's a little too much, but I'm going to try to get me one of these. If I find a good source for it, I'll let you know in one of my videos, maybe next time, because I haven't looked yet, but I'm going to. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let you go when y'all guys can. And if you can, and only then if you can, because you have to take care of you and your family first. But if you appreciate my content and the work that I do for our Father, and you want this to continue and for me to have my basic needs met, then collectively there's a whole lot of you. And if y'all guys just a smallest piece of bread donated down below to me, it takes care of me, and y'all guys have been doing it for a long time now, but I have to remind y'all guys every once in a while, and it's getting close to the end of the month, rent time and all that stuff, so I'd appreciate a little help if I get it. I thank you very much. Guys, you know I love you. You know Father loves you, and if it isn't clear how God has designed everything perfectly, and how the presence of God is shown and written all around you when you look and can understand the things around you that are being disclosed in my videos. I don't know what to say, but God is just great. And I've got I've been having some amazing situations with dragonflies lately, and I've got some video of some dragonflies that are coming and visiting me. Some amazing looking dragonflies doing some amazing things. And I've been recording them, but I'm going to put them all together in a video. It's happening day after day, and I'll share that with you real soon too. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Don't forget, like I said, I love you. Father loves you. Don't ever forget it. And we'll talk to you again real soon. This has been Daniel Alexander Cannon, here on Logic Before Authority.